What's up guys, and welcome to a super early unboxing of the brand new Huawei Mate 10 and the Huawei Mate 10 Pro. So these phones have literally just been announced today, and we're going to crack open the boxes and see what you get inside. Both of these smartphones are of the mocha brown color, which proved to be a bit of a fan favorite last year. So the Mate 10 has 4GB of RAM and 64GB of ROM, whereas the Mate 10 Pro has an option for 6GB of RAM and 128. As you can see from this little label over here, both of these smartphones are extending Huawei's partnership with Leica, which has been going for a number of years and has culminated in a 12-megapixel RGB sensor combined with a 20-megapixel monochrome one. We're going to start with the Huawei Mate 10, and then we're going to work our way up to the Pro. And as you can probably tell from here, both packages are nearly identical. Huawei have kept this one pretty simple. There isn't too much in the way of specifications on the box, literally just says Huawei design. Taking out the phone first, we're going to put that to the side and very quickly take a look at what's underneath. Two boxes. On the right hand side we've got a pretty substantial Huawei Supercharge adapter. Now Supercharge is a fairly new technology that they've introduced, and it's a low voltage charging technology which can actually get you to 20% charge in just about 10 minutes, and it does this while keeping temperatures low and also being very safe. We've then got a USB Type-C charging adapter and a pretty simple looking pair of earphones. And on the other side we've got a silicone case and then a SIM ejector tool and instruction manuals. Alright, let's take a look at the phone. One of the first things you're probably going to notice is the fact that there are almost non-existent side bezels. So what we have here on the standard Mate 10 is a 16:9 ratio, 2560 by 1440 display with a Quad HD resolution and pretty much nothing else. The phone is pretty slim on the top and the bottom in terms of bezels, and as we said, on the side there is literally nothing there. Now right over here, hiding in this rather unusual band at the top of the phone, is possibly the most exciting thing about it. So both the Mate 10 and the Mate 10 Pro actually share the same Leica dual camera setup, and whilst it's great, it's a dual camera system, we've seen that before. It's got a 12 megapixel plus a 20 megapixel resolution. Again, we've kind of seen something like this before. But one thing we haven't seen is two lenses which both have an f1.6 aperture. That is setting a new benchmark for mobile phone photography. Now we will have to test this a little bit more in detail to tell you what exactly that translates to, but on paper that means you're getting incredible amounts of light in your shots, whether you're using the single or the dual camera features. And speaking of the dual camera modes, what we have here is not only lossless zoom, but also a bokeh mode. But the difference here is that this one is AI powered. And that brings us on to the next point. The Huawei Mate 10 and the Mate 10 Pro are powered by the brand new Kirin 970, which is on one hand a top of the line chipset in terms of general performance, but also it's got a real focus on AI. The chipset is built from the ground up to work with the EMUI 8 that is on this device to create a smarter experience, and that comes in the form of battery management, performance lasting over time, and also the camera, so the phone can actually recognize objects within an image, and that'll hopefully mean that because it's understanding the photo a little bit better than most other dual camera phones, it can more effectively create a professional looking photo. We've also of course got 4K video support and optical image stabilization built in. Alright, so moving on to the Mate 10 Pro. And whilst the packaging is very similar to the Mate 10, in terms of specifications and what they're capable of, they really start to diverge. And one of the first things you notice when you take the Mate 10 Pro out of the box is that it's actually slimmer and lighter than the Mate 10, which is a pretty unusual way of doing things. Most of the time when companies make a Pro version, tends to be the bulkier option. Aesthetically speaking, both phones are more or less identical from the outside. The mocha brown is exactly the same. One of the things you will notice is that the fingerprint scanner has been moved from the front on the Mate 10 to the rear on the Mate 10 Pro. Not only that, but also this is an 18:9 aspect ratio, so it is a slightly longer display and also has a far better display technology under it. Whereas the Mate 10 relies on LCD, the Pro has an OLED panel built inside. But again, there is something unusual about it because the Mate 10 has a Quad HD resolution, but the Pro has a full HD plus one. Taking a look at the two displays side by side makes for quite an interesting comparison. The Mate 10 Pro is a tiny bit brighter, and also in terms of color and contrast, has a little bit more pop to it. You'll also notice as we tilt the phones from side to side that the viewing angles on the Pro actually hold up quite a bit better. Neither of these two phones are particularly slim, but there's a good reason for that, because internally, both of them are packing 4,000 mAh batteries, which immediately puts them in the top 5% of smartphones in terms of battery capacities. Now, just like with the cameras, it's one of those things where we will have to test it for at least a week or so to give you a full judgment, but on paper, it's looking like a pretty astonishing level of battery life. For the most part, in terms of performance, both phones are going to be pretty indistinguishable. They both have the same chipset, and the 2GB of extra RAM on the Pro is only really going to come in handy in terms of extreme multitasking. as of 2017, not many applications actually use 4GB themselves. Now also with the Pro, whilst you do get IP67 water and dust resistance, unfortunately you do lose out on SD card support, which the Mate 10 does have. So guys, there we have it. That is the Huawei Mate 10 and the Huawei Mate 10 Pro. And let's just say there are a lot of reasons to be excited. Not only do these phones tick just about every single box when it comes to what we should expect from a 2017 flagship, but they bring a lot of new things to the table. They've got a focus on camera, and this could well be contender for the best smartphone camera of the year. We've got an all-day battery at the very minimum, potentially even 2 days if you're conservative with it, and we've also got some of the best performance on the market. You then throw in what the company is doing with artificial intelligence. I mean, the Kirin 970 is unlike any other chip on the market right now. The fact of the matter is, these phones are built from the ground up for AI, unlike any other current smartphone is. They are 25 times more powerful when it comes to AI-related tasks, and 50 times more efficient when compared to a standard quad-core A73. Anyway guys, I really hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to subscribe to the channel. And with that being said, I'm Mr. Who's the Boss, and I'll catch you in the next one.